knew that one belief eliminated from your brain could change the course of your reality, would you want that? It's not for everyone, only the brave. Those who want to own their life like the powerful leaders they were born to be. A pivotal moment can change everything. Now, here's the host of Crossroads to Awakening show, Wendy Paquette.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is the Crossroads to Awakening with Wendy Paquette. I am your host, and I'm a holographic mind reprogrammer. And what that is I work with people who are stuck at a crossroads, awaken to their true selves, and change the world from where they stand. Because I believe as a high frequency human, how you see your life is a direct reflection of the programs that are etched into your brain, and they can be easily shifted when you see the truth for what it is. And that's really easy to do for me and you. It's deleting the programs that are been placed there by you. And imagine your life completely different if all we do is erase those programs. So anyway, that's what I'm up to in my life. That's what I'm up to in the world. And you get to participate and be a part of that if you'd like to. You get to reach out to me at Wendy Paquette. Anyhow, today's the third, I guess you'd say, in a series of 3 episodes, and it could go on further. You never know. Let's see how this goes. But in creating and manifesting from 3D to a 5D multidimensional experience. Now, I got all kinds of super cool insight from the universe, from source, from, the energies that be about how to explain the difference between 3D and 5D. It's very much leaning into the science aspect. And, I'm not claiming to be a scientist, I didn't even do that well in science. I wasn't as interested in it when I was in school. And there is something to say about what I now understand about energy from a science perspective and how we move through the world as spirits or energies or souls in a physical body, like a skin suit, right? Because you can witness most of the stuff I'm speaking about in quantum physics experiments. So when something is witnessed, it changes, right? We can all look those things up. But the most important part is when I'm speaking to manifesting or being awake in this reality and experiencing a multidimensional experience, there are aspects of it that you can see and tap into and acknowledge and therefore shift. It's on that acknowledgement. That's the piece that I get to land today. The acknowledgement that you're seeing something that could be different or looks different. You're starting to separate the worlds so that you can actually take a good look at it, right? So let me say, the last week's show and the show before was tired of the 3D experience and ready for manifesting in 5D with multidimensional insight. Multidimensional insight is what we're speaking to right now. It's like what Spirit says to me is it is the alternate 3D. Right? It's not quite 5D because 5D has a whole new feel about it. It doesn't have the emotions like we have in 3D. It doesn't have a lot of things. It does have code, but it's different code and it's utilized differently. But the one thing that's the same across the multiverse is the cosmos, the astrological existence. It's the same across the cosmos and the multi-billion, infinite experience of the multiverses around, everywhere. So we're part of that oneness everywhere. And how it is seen is different. So I feel like I'm getting really, heavy and deep into all this, but this is what happens. As soon as I dive into this, it's almost as though they're dropping in information to share with everyone that's listening. So let's look at, this is the 3rd episode in this series of manifesting in 3D to 5D with multidimensional insight. The 2 shows before this, and if you haven't heard them, go back and listen. You'll understand what this show's all about based on them. I asked you in the first episode to find a coin, like source a dollar coin. And that was our first lead into, accessing parts of our understanding of this multiverse to see what's actually happening. And can we instantaneously manifest something on call, so to speak, like at will. The second one was leaning deeper into what that could look like, finding out if you did from a week ago, discover or manifest a dollar coin and what that looks like. And this week, we get to lean into the aspects of which I'm going to use sources, words are the alternative 3D. It's not 4D and it's not 5D. It is what they're telling me is like the multiverse itself is the alternative 3D. It's the space where we're deleting all the 3D codes, yet we're still kind of in 3D and we're getting it. It's almost like, I want to liken it to school. We're kind of in like 5D school, where we're learning what 5D is and how we can access it through a doorway that's presented to us in whichever way it gets to. That's the magic of all of this. So if you found a dollar coin or you didn't find a dollar coin, what we're speaking about, and this is, manifestation is about everything in your reality. And the science of it is what you're looking at is what's real right now. So what's in your reality currently, right in this very moment, is what's real, right? You could touch it, you could taste it. If it's food, you can hear it, you can smell it. All those, I guess you'd say, like 3D aspects of this reality, which is the 5 senses plus, those things are in particle form. Everything else outside of that, you're not actually physically looking at, are a wave. Okay. You can't hold me to the science of this because I'm not a scientist. And what I understand is when you're looking at it, it is solid. When you're not looking at it, it is a wave. Now, the only time that source tells me that we are in wave, that we, energy, are in waveform is when we are asleep. And most likely out of our body. When we're in our body, we're in particle form, which means there is a solid weight to us and to this reality and to all things that are happening. So in order to pull something into this weighted 3D experience with our minds, we get to be standing in the alternate space, or the multiverse, I guess you'd say, we'll call it alternate 3D, in order to access these things. Because attachments to anything, especially time, get that one, attachments to time are what stop us from actualizing, I guess I'll use that word in that way, actualizing what we want. Our attachment to time, imagine that. I also believe that that's a gateway to the 5D experience. So let's look at that. We're going to talk about what you really want and how you really want it, and how you can find the indicator of the program that exists and delete it. We're going to go into that today. I know Jen was asking me, are we going to do some clearing today? And here's the thing. We can, and we get to identify those programs first. So let's start there. First, I'm going to identify the programs, or show you how to spot the program. Then we're going to talk about what it looks like in between and as we're shifting to something else. And then we're going to talk about what's possible once you've shifted it. The number one thing that you get to know is a program in your brain is going to prove your reality is going to prove you true every time. So the program is going to cause your reality to prove it true. I have no other words to explain it. Whatever you've decided is true is. How? Whatever you decided true is the program, your reality you're going to experience. You're going to prove it right and true in the sense that, and I'm using laws of duality words, because that is what 3D is. So what you're going to prove true is whatever you decided. And I'm saying it multiple ways, perhaps for it to land in a little better. But if you've decided that your life sucks and you have no love in your life and you'll never find love, that's a program, that statement. Your reality must prove you true, must prove that program true, which means that you will see evidence of that program everywhere you look. You'll be living it, right? So I'm going to say it another way as well. When you decide that, let's take someone who's on the other side, someone who's wealthy per se. They have everything they want and they create it at ease. Just somehow they have that magical golden touch where everything they want comes to them. That is the program for them. Everything they want shows up for them. Life, maybe business is easy. They can make money like blinking their eyes. That is the program. The difference being you can have that program as well. There's no problem with that. The issue being, if you have multiple programs that are saying, I never have any money, I'm always short at the end of the month, that's too expensive, I can't afford it. If you're buying all those shitty lack scarcity programs, if they're in your brain and you want everything's easy, you can say it, but it's going to beat up against the 15 other lack and scarcity programs that you have running at the same time. So you're going to find yourself frustrated in the space of, I'm not manifesting anything because that stuff's not working for me. Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know if it's actually true. I'm seeing other people claim to do it. It's not working for me. What am I doing wrong? Instantaneously buying other bullshit programs telling you that something you're doing is wrong. Again, 3D law of duality, something's wrong, right? Duality is the opposites are possible, right? It's either wrong or right, good or bad, up or down. So with that being said, now you can see how things are not working for you, as well as how things are. All 15 programs of lack and versus one program that you desire that is abundant. Which one do you like? Just do the math, right? Figure out which one's going to be more powerful. Certainly not going to be the one you want, because you have 15 other ones that are, who knows how long they've been there, that they're going to battle themselves, together as a power to make sure that that one isn't showing up. I mean, even if you saw a smidgen of abundance somewhere because you wanted it, it's going to be overpowered by, oh, well, that was a fluke. Well, that was lucky, right? There's going to be all of those things. And when I say the word lucky, it makes me think of how some people are lucky and they claim to be lucky. Maybe they win the lottery over and over. Guess what? Being lucky is a program. You can program yourself to be lucky. Therefore, your reality must prove it true, must prove you right, right? If you program yourself to be lucky. There are so many programs in your reality, and how to see them, that's what I get to share with you next. So we have a couple minutes before we do a break. So I'm just going to keep speaking into that. So there's no easier way to explain a program that's running in your life except for to allow yourself to see the reality before you. See the reality before you and be really honest and true about it. Attempt to do it from a neutral space, right? Okay, so every time I spend money, I don't make more than that. So I'm spending money and I'm making the same, and I'm always breaking even, right? I'm sure you've heard that one a million times. You're like, oh man, I can't seem to get ahead. All these programs are matching. I don't get ahead. I'm just living month to month. All those programs are true. How to identify them is watch yourself in action. Take a notepad out today, write down every time you go to do something and you've experienced yourself in a moment of emotion, some type of emotion. Like, I'm going to go to the grocery store. Oh, I only have $50, but I really wanted to get a whole slew of things for a party this weekend and I don't actually have the money. And if I spend the 50, then I'm done and I just break even. Same type of program. Write those things down. This is what bothers me. Every time I do this, this happens, right? Start writing down your thoughts. Journal, I guess not journal them, but I guess keep track of them so that you can see the pattern. You will see your own programs, because the things that frustrate you will show them to you. So when we go after we come back from the break, I'll explain more how you can indicate those. But the first task that you get to do is take out like a journal or a notepad or what have you, and start marking down your thought processes with everything, especially the things that aren't working, so you can identify and shift and delete those. But certainly the things that are, like, if you knew what your awesome programs were and that were really working for you, wouldn't you want to lean into them a little further? Like, start actually mentally tapping in on those great programs and continuously causing them to work for you. At the same time, deleting other ones that aren't working, but really landing the good stuff. It will generate a different type of power, but we'll talk about that after. So let's go into a break right now. And while you're on the break, grab a notepad, start writing down some of the things that come to your mind right away. Write down some of the things that you always think about. Words are the technology of transformation when it comes to this great stuff. So let's lean into that after this break, and we'll totally identify it. You're going to be able to walk away by the end of today's show identifying some of your programs, which will really serve you because you can see them in action and flip the switch to something else. So you're listening to me, Wendy Paquette, on the Crossroads to Awakening show. And man, let's get manifesting stuff that we really want. So grab your notepad and your pen while we're on this short break, and we'll see you in just a minute.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Crossroads to Awakening show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now back to the program.
Okay. I'm sitting here on the break thinking, it's brilliant that you can actually do this now, that we can identify what's in the way so that we can change it and have what we want. This reality is literally built on our creative capacity to just be passionate about anything, right? Your purpose is in the moment that you're in, and your mission is to be passionate about something and then live your life from that space, which is sheer joy. Like, why would you want it any other way? So it's here for you now, and it's totally accessible. The difference being, up until this moment in time, perhaps you didn't know that the programs that you were living through are what were causing the crappy situations that aren't working for you. The good news is they can be deleted. They can completely be deleted. And not only that, they can be replaced with something that you do want. It's not a difficult thing. It is simple. And I'm telling you, because of this show, I have created the program that's going to support you in walking through this step by step at an opportunity that's going to change your reality as you see it now. And that's just what's coming out of this, because it's so much fun and it's so easy and it's so joyful. And that's what we get to have on this planet right now, is more joy, right? We're missing the joy. So thank goodness for COVID. I'm going to say that COVID has caused everyone to go in and rest and really take a good look at what they really want, because they're faced with the truth no matter what. Right? You're going to see the things you do like and you don't like. It could be a spouse, or it could be a job, or it could be a living arrangement, it could be anything. Maybe it's your money situation. What you get to know from that is you're committed AF to shift it. If you are, or you're happy and you stay where you are, it doesn't matter. As long as you're passionate, then you're on purpose, which is so much fun. So let's dive into the next step in identifying these programs. So now the first step is going to be writing them all down, right? Let's write down what we're noticing. What we're noticing, and when I say write it down, notice what's in your brain when you're thinking about things. And the easiest way to identify these programs, like in the simplest way, is by picking something that doesn't work. because you're so present to something that doesn't work. It's so frustrating, irritating. It's easy to go, oop, it's irritating, it's frustrating, this must be a program, right? It's when you're joyful that you feel more at ease. That's all. Those are also programs, although you're just not aware in that moment because it doesn't stop you in your tracks and make you frustrated. You're joyful, you're having fun, energy is flowing, it's great. So you don't get to interrupt that program. Lean into the stuff that's not working, because it's so much easier to like red flag yourself. Like, hey, this shit's not working. It's so frustrating. Great. Pause, take a breath. What's not working? What do I think isn't working? And why do I think I don't have what I want, or, any of like whatever's in the way? Write that down. Start writing it down in your own words. Just let it flow. Keep writing until the writing stops. And then my invitation to you is, once you think it's all out, keep going. That's where the juicy stuff comes from. Write down what you think is in your head. I never get ahead. I don't know why I keep saying that. So those of you out there, whoever's listening, you might be in that position where things just, they just don't allow you to get ahead. Your job, pays just enough money, not more than, so that you're, in abundance, just enough. And your spending hits just enough where there's not enough to like really go out and have fun and, not think about money. Just enough to, do something, but not have more than that, right? Write that down. I'm always having just enough. There's no joy in just enough. Now, listen, for somebody who doesn't have any, of course there would be, because you'd be happy making ends meet. And is that the way you truly want to live? Do you truly want to live just ends meeting? That's it. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not judging. But anyway, write down the programs. Second thing is, now, in order to, you can identify the level of the program's existence in your reality by the amount of emotion that it brings. So let's lean in again to, say, the not making enough, not having enough, or always making ends meet. How frustrating is that? That you have all these big goals. Maybe you're living in an apartment and you've decided you want to buy a house. How can you buy a house if at the end of the month, your paycheck and your spending are the same and there's no other excess money to put a down payment on a house for yourself? How frustrating is that? How long do you think you must stay stuck in that apartment and never ever have a house, because nothing ever changes? Everything's always the same. Just think about that one. I would imagine that it's super frustrating if you had a desire to have a house of your own. Maybe place you thought, you know what, I'm going to buy a place that I am completely in love with, that I could see myself living for the rest of my life. I could retire there. I could pay it off. I could create a big garden, and I could have a dog and all those beautiful things for yourself. If you can't have that because of your scenario, whatever that looks like, how much emotion does that actually bring up for you? And identify your programs by that. So identify all these thought processes that you have in your brain based on the A, emotion, and B, a level of emotion. Because there's some things like, oh God, that's so irritating, right? Yeah, maybe it's irritating, but is it so freaking irritating you want to smash your hand against something, like you're so angry in something? Or I always joke around and go, oh, I'd rather shoot myself in the foot. It would feel better than to do X, Y, Z. How angry or how frustrated does it make you? There are levels. I mean, I could lean into not angry and frustrated, but how sad does it make you? How many times will you cry hearing that you can't do something because you're so frustrated with your life, nothing's changing? That to me is like a big program that gets to shift. Just to give you a glimpse into what's possible, imagine if that program was deleted. Imagine every time you wanted to do something, a sheer desire to be more in your world, and you say, let's talk into the house thing. You really want a house, and you see this gorgeous house on the market, and you can't have it because you just haven't been able to generate any more money than you've already got. When you're frustrated and sad, you feel it creates like a slew of, I want to say like a bucket. I want to say a bucket of shit emotions, really. Sadness, frustration, disappointment, self-judgment, shame, all these other things are in there. That's what those programs create. if you're going through that program you're experiencing that day after day after day, I mean, okay, so if you want to lessen it even to look at, what if it's weekly? But it spills out into the next couple of days because maybe it's really saddening, right? You ever feel really bad about your life? Like, where did you go wrong? How did you get dealt this crappy deck? Let me show you something different. What would your life be like if you didn't have that program? Imagine, just for a second, just play for 2 seconds and imagine. You're looking at all these programs you wrote down on your list. You're attaching the emotions that are on there. You're putting them in order of which ones are kind of higher up on the scale than others. What if we deleted that? What if we deleted the program that said everything ends always just me? I never have more than like what's in the bank. I never make more. I don't have any savings. I don't have enough. What would happen if I deleted those programs with you? How would that open things up in your reality? What would you have? What would you create? What would your bank account look like? Right? What would your entertainment look like? How would you go out more often with your friends and, I don't know, create more joy, right? Create some laughs, some giggles, and have some fun. What else would you do with that? Would you support someone else? Perhaps you pay it forward, right? You know a friend in need and you give them a few $100s because you know that that would support them. What would that look like in order to make more money than you need? And how many ways can you be joyful with that? Or maybe every single month, you know that your savings account is going up and up and up. And at XYZ month, you're going to buy the house of your dreams because that's what you want. And you have the capacity to do so. Why? Because you don't have that program that exists, that everything is always just enough and never more than that, right? It could even be in the love department. Imagine if you're getting just enough love from your partner. Just enough. It means you don't get to go over to that over the top passionate side. You don't get to be romanticized by him or her. You don't get to have those extra special little moments where you receive flowers. I received flowers 3 times in the last month and a half. 3 times. And yesterday being one of them. Hello. Awesome. Like, how joyful is that? I was like, what? How magical and how special and how beautiful is that? We've been together over 22 years, not like it's a brand new relationship. So imagine what that would feel like to just be loved up from a million different ways from your spouse or your partner, right? The only thing stopping that opportunity is your programs, whatever you believe to be true, because your reality must prove you right, must prove that program true, right? It's absolutely a program. So my prayer is that you are hearing me, that life isn't as horrible as it may seem. Those are just the programs that are running that are proving those programs, your reality proving those programs true, and they can be changed. I've been doing it for years. People's lives change. Not only do they change where we delete the programs and then their space opens up, but we can also input programs that they want in there, and they can receive the gifts that they came into this reality, like probably expecting to use. Maybe it's communicating with spirit. Maybe it could be anything. Maybe they're a master at singing and they're going to write a hit record. All those things are possible and true in your reality when the program that's in your brain says so. Does that not sound simple? So flippin' simple. Program, numbers, code, 3D is code. So we're here in the Crossroads to Awakening show, and I'm Wendy Paquette. We're talking about the code that we're living in and the programs that are in your brain and how we could change it. And, you know, manifesting has been the theme across the way, but there's so much more to what this could be. So we're going to walk into a break, and you get to keep writing down these programs that you think about. Just let them flow into your face and into your head. I always say your face as being your head because that's where it comes out of your mouth. And write them down on a piece of paper, and let's talk about those things. And when we come back, we're going to go even further into what's truly possible for you. We may even bring on someone to ask some questions, and you can relate potentially to what they're going through based on the questions that they ask me. That's kind of the beauty of the live thing. So because of this beautiful opportunity and being on the Crossroads to Awakening show on this magnificent platform of the Inspired Choices Network, we get to be inviting you into possibilities before anyone else hears them. So we'll talk about that when we come right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is the Crossroads to Awakening show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now back to the program.
Okay, so so much. I'm just going to keep repeating and reiterating the opportunities that you have to change your reality, to awaken. Like, think about the name of this show, Crossroads to Awakening. If you're being called to listen to this show, it's most likely that you're at a crossroads to awakening to your true self. Imagine that. Like, wouldn't it be nice if you looked in the mirror and you saw your true self? Like, do you even have any idea how magnificent you are? How beautiful you are? How loving, passionate, caring you are? Yeah. Seeing yourself truly and then being able to activate and access that and share yourself with the world in the way that only you know how. It's unique and individual for everyone. And this is one thing that is, to me, the most inspiring thing. We came here on this planet, especially now, like with all of the Black Lives Matter and all the things that are happening. Guess what we know? We know for sure that every single individual is unique and beautiful, no matter what the color, no matter where they came from. And you know what? Thank God for that. Really, truly. I wouldn't want to look like anyone else. I wouldn't want to be like anyone else except for me, right? How would you identify me out of a crowd if I didn't look like me, if I looked like the 13 other people that were standing with me? You couldn't. There'd be no differentiation. So being uniquely you is the biggest gift you gave yourself by standing in this beautiful body that you have. And by the way, the bodies can shift with the mind as well. Excuse me, with the programs. Your body can absolutely shift with the program. I think I talked about it in a prior show. You can change the shape, the look, the feel of your body with the programs that are in your brain. And should you exercise? Of course, this is a physical skin suit we're living in. It deserves to be exercised, moved, and lubricated with oxygen and blood and all those great things. And it doesn't mean that it can't be fueled by the programs in your brain. It's that easy. But being uniquely you, that's the one thing you don't have to work for. Imagine this. We talk about manifesting and we're always leaning into wealth because everybody wants money. And I'm using air quotes if you're listening to this. Money indicates something, whatever you've decided that money is for you, whether it's a big house or a nice car or nice clothes, or maybe it's opportunities like going to university or whatever it looks like. It's an aspect of wealth. If wealth to you is what moves you and what excites you, wouldn't you like to have uniquely unique experience of you? Like, say my tongue tied is like taking the energy and pulling it through my body and spitting it out in front of you. Taking the uniqueness of you and not having to try hard, because that is free, my friends. We're talking about the wealth that we always want, and the one thing that we ignore are the things that are free. It's love, totally free. Being you, totally free. Having a body, totally free. How many things in this reality that most people are looking for, like creating connection with another human, totally free? How many of those things are you just wanting to have? And I almost said dying to have, because some people really are. And those things are free. And what we're looking for is the wealth, and I'm going to air quote, money, in order to pay for those opportunities or pay for some things that are, it's like this big dichotomy, right? What do you really want? It doesn't actually cost you anything. The things that we have for free are the most incredible, unique things and most valuable things on the planet. You, your beautiful soul, your beautiful smile, the ability to love, those things about you, my friend, are all free. And you can give them and receive them as freely as you possess them. So the money that you're looking to create, or the wealth or the abundance you're looking to create, is coming from a space of lack when you look at it from that perspective. Because if you think you don't have something, you're coming from a space of lack. You want something because you don't have it. When you want to lean into abundance, imagine the things that you already have that are free. Now, this brings my brain into speaking about something else. It's value, right? How little value do you believe that you are, that you be, if you're willing to pay for something over have something that's free? And I'm not saying, we're not looking at material aspects in this moment that I'm speaking about this, but if you think that things you must pay for have more value than things that are free, there are programs out there that suggest that is true, because it is. It's how our reality has been trained to be. And how you access the extreme value that you're after, like the place where everything's abundant and you have a lot of everything when at your absolute will, is when you're willing, that's value to you. When you're willing to accept that the things that are free that you came into this reality with, your beautiful soul, right? Your body, your smile, your ability to love and connect with other humans. When you see the value in that, my friends, you will see the value everywhere. And that connection to self is currency here on this planet. I don't care where you go in the world, the value is here. You could go to Africa where they don't have anything, in the places that they're dying because they don't have clean water. But they have the most beautiful connection in love that you have ever seen. Why? Because they don't see the things in the material reality as we do, when they're struggling to drink fresh, clean water and their children are dying from like bacterias in the dirty water they're drinking, but they need water to survive. What they do have, and they're always joyful, they somehow find a way to amplify their abundance and the things that they were born with. Those things that we say are free, but they're actually abundantly gifted to us when walking into this reality. So you just get to pull your brain back into the space of understanding that manifesting in this reality, anything you want is true, is 100% possible. Deleting the programs, completely easy. Adding programs that you really want, always and absolutely just as easy. Having the type of experience where you are joyful, minus all the anger, frustration, irritation, judgment feelings, is also possible. But it starts with valuing you. Also, like, value yourself. I keep saying also, because there's so many aspects to this. Value you, see the abundance and what you've been gifted that's free. Then look at the things that you want that are potentially, that could be material in some aspects. Look at those things you want. Try manifesting from that space. When you start seeing abundance in yourself and what you were gifted with and how much of it and how infinite it is, and it's easily replenished when you've got that two-way street going, then when you hold yourself in that space and then look at something and ask and it is given is true, ask for what you want from that loving, abundant, infinite space, see what happens. Because what you'll be telling yourself the program that's going to be written is, wow, I have enough. I am enough. I have an abundance of love. I could give love and love and love and love and love and never stop, right? I can show up. I can smile. I can change someone's day by looking them in the face and smiling. Hello, you don't think that has value? So starting to place value on the things that we take for granted will actualize and manifest the things that you really truly want, because you'll be coming at it from a different angle, right? Not only will you be coming at it from a different angle, the more that you can see your own value, the value of you, the programs in your brain will instantly shift. I'm going to repeat that. The more value you see in you when you look in the mirror, when you realize that you could give love and to no end, it's truly infinite and you can experience that. You can smile at someone, excuse me. You have a body that's all yours. You do whatever you want with it. I mean, you can abuse it or you can love it up. That's an abundant space, because you can do an abundance of either way. When you start seeing the value of the things that you already possess, somehow magically that translates into a program that anything you want is possible and infinitely yours. Okay? That to me is probably the biggest message of this entire episode. Seeing value in you and the infinite capacities, like infinite gifts and capacities you came in with, will activate your infinite ability to manifest anything you want from a space of abundance, right? We're talking about 3D reality today, where the aspect of a multidimensional experience is to be able to master the 3D, to step into something that's greater than, right? That has a multidimensional experience, in that nothing feels the same. I don't feel dragged down by certain things that are going on in the world. I am 100% being all I can be in every moment. I am loving infinitely. I am reaching out. I am seeing humans with a compassionate eye. That gets to be enough. If everyone took on just that aspect, how different would our world be? Right? This message is way bigger than what we started out with, moving from a 3D to a 5D manifestation reality. Multidimensional experience, and I say multidimensional from the energies of source that I communicate with, have expressed to me that a multidimensional experience is also called, or also known as, 3D alternate. It's not quite 5D. 5D has its own code. Multidimensional experience, as I see it, with codes in 3D, and when they're deleted and replaced, is still 3D, but 3D alternate. You're getting more of a multidimensional experience in that way. From there, as we're moving through the multiverse and we're experiencing a higher shift in frequency, we will then move into that 5D experience. But imagine bashing your face off a wall because you want to go from 3D to 5D and you still have all those 3D programs. How would that feel? Probably not very good. Why? Because we are still living in a skin suit. We have a physical representation here that has a conscious awareness. If it has a conscious awareness, then it's in this body, it's attached to this body, so we can't run through the wall because we will feel it. So, and I mean, if we're in 3D, we want to go to 5D and we want to run from here to there, it's going to hurt running through a brick wall. And we can open up the small doors and remove the layers and actually get to that space where we're walking through it with a conscious awareness of shift and change, deleting the programs that are stopping us dead in our tracks to keep the lack scarcity mentality of the 3D world, and open it up to the 5D experience, so that walking through would be merely moving the cells and the particles out of the way. Not as difficult as you might think, because it begins with deleting the programs. It begins there. And how to get to the programs is writing them down, identifying them by seeing the emotion that's attached to these things when you're thinking them. Those, if you keep reiterating those things in your head, you're going to stay stuck there. You can't move. You keep repeating it. It's almost like giving it strength. So I'm extending, the opportunity for you to understand that your reality can be different and very quickly. Start with identifying those programs. So, man, this show goes so fast. We're going to go into our last break and choose a joyful expression of yourself. Go look in the mirror, give yourself a smile, see that abundant opportunity that you have right within you that is free with all like value intact. Let's activate the value inside of you so that you can have everything you've ever wanted. It all goes together. It is simpler than you can imagine, and it's possible. And I'll walk you right into it with whatever way works. That's what I'm here for. That's my passion. That's my opportunity. This is exactly what changes the world as we know it. So we're going to walk into our break and come out from the other side with a renewed possibility in how you can have this opportunity to work with me as well in the new program that I'm creating just for you. For those of you who are listening, who would really love this shift and have yet to identify some of those things in your reality, or would love some support identifying the programs, I'm creating it just for you. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. I'm Wendy Paquette, and this is the Crossroads to Awakening show.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is the Crossroads to Awakening show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Now back to the program.
Okay, so I thought I was going to bring a guest on to talk about the opportunities that we can all create for each other in this reality. But I think what I'm going to do based on this experience of the show is I'm going to create that for next show. Next week's show, anyone who wants to come on and ask questions about getting like blocked in your reality or not identifying your programs, or maybe you're identifying them and you can't actually put anything to them, or you don't know if you're right or wrong, or if you can't see them, or maybe you can and you want to share it. Next week's show is going to be all about that. We're going to talk directly and speak directly into your programs and what they look like and how they can shift or what they could look different. And we can talk right into it. I will support you right here on this show, and we'll walk right into the possibilities. I think that would be really, really supportive and super fun. And the example that you be by participating in the show will be, good for so many people. So if you're listening to this, then you know how to find me. You can go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, go onto the host page of my show, which is Wendy Paquette or Crossroads to Awakening, and send me a message. Email me. You can email the network. You can email me to get on the show. And what you get to do is hop into the chat room or call in. And we're going to lean right into the programs that are stuck into your brain. Because let me tell you, I've seen the miracles that get created when you're having a conversation with someone and you identify their programs. And I mean, yes, I have a special ability to be able to see it and read frequency and delete those programs or replace them. But you know what? I'm right here. And if there's an opportunity to gift that capacity to anyone else, I'm completely open to doing that. I don't know how. And I, have zero attachments to that it's possible. The universe, source, you can ask for it and receive it, which is amazing. So let's get the party started with what's possible. Let's see and begin to see your reality differently. Let's baby step it in and then quantum leap it as you go. When you see what's really possible for you, it's so much fun. It's like being everywhere all at the same time. That's kind of what a multidimensional experience feels like. It's having the both ends of leadership. I mean, I'm a huge fan of leadership. I love what leadership will do for you. It takes regular everyday humans like you and I, places us in opportunities like maybe the parent council at your high school, and allows you to step in there into a space where you can be the change, right? You can bring these clean, free programs into a space where they don't have anything except for what they've been taught for the last 100 years in school, right? So archaic, so slow. Their transition from in school to online to me was appalling with the possibilities that actually exist with the technology today. Seriously, I struggled. I'm not going to lie. I struggled to seeing the slowness of it. And I also get to be the possibility of that change, that shift. I get to create, and I'm going to speak to you instead of saying we get to create the new possibilities in this reality by being the example of, I'm willing to attempt walking through the wall to get to 5D by moving the layers out of the way. And if I scrape myself and I go too fast, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with falling down and then getting back up. And one thing that I don't know if I mentioned this on a prior show is I believe that failure is a 3D construct to keep you stuck, right? The word failure I'm speaking to, not failure itself. If you believe that failure is a terrible thing, a horrible thing, the worst thing that could ever happen to you, it's embarrassing, it's self-shame and judgment and all those things, guess what? That's a program. My program says that failure means learning. And I would like to fail faster. I would like to fail forward. And failure is learning. How cool is it to fail at something? It means you're actually stepping into a new world of learning. So what if you could shift? I mean, I'm bringing in teen leadership here in Canada. And what that means to me is these kids will have the opportunity to learn that failure is learning and being a leader is for everyone. The world gets to shift because of them, right? They get to be these beautiful, magical humans that are changing the world from the space of you're either going to win at your life or you're going to learn at your life. All right. And in brackets, you can put the word failure, or you can say fail/learn. So which opportunity would you like for yourself or for your children by leaning into deleting some of these programs that are keeping you stuck? Because I'll tell you this, what I know in a holographic reality and what I can read and see with it's like a holographic site of code, is that if you have the program, your kids have it automatically, because they have the programs automatically, baked right into their DNA and into their existence. They have the same programs as you. So not only will you shift your program and open up your reality and potentially add something amazing in there, your children get it too. There's so much more to talk about with that. I mean, you could easily see programs in your children, identify the programs, shift them in yourself, and see them changed. I've done it. I have experience with it. It's insane. And to be honest with you, it's a freaking miracle in my eyes. It's a miracle that we have that opportunity. So this has been so exciting, this show. Every single week it gets better and better and better. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for sharing in my experience with you and being able to deliver this message. And thank you for stepping in. Thank you for being you. Go look in the mirror. Go smile at yourself and share that abundant, infinite, free love that you have with yourself. Start there. Activate your value. Activate it and see what happens on the other side. And we'll talk about it when you come and visit me. So find me if you're on social media, Wendy Paquette, or find the show. I believe it's at Crossroads Awakening show. Look it up with Wendy Paquette. Message me, Facebook, Instagram. It's so easy. Or go onto the page on YouTube, onto the show page, and message me there. But let's get this party started. Come play with me next week. I'll be looking forward to speaking with you. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm here to support you with everything, especially deleting those crazy ass programs that are stopping you up. There's so much love for you. I am sending it all out in waves and waves and waves, not particles, waves. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for playing with me today. It's been thrilling.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Crossroads to Awakening radio show. Wendy Paquette will return next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We look forward to you joining us again. Until then, enjoy your journey and we'll meet you at the crossroads.